Hello and welcome to the second episode of Have You Seen It? My name is Adam. I'm here with Jared.
Hey, how's it going?
And Dan.
Hey there.
And today we are reviewing A Quiet Place Day 1. So we're going to do some trivia along with that and then do some other movie shout-outs as well. So I'll do a little bit of a synopsis on the movie. So A Quiet Place Day 1. It is the third in the series of the Quiet Place films. This one is directed by Michael Sarnowski and starring Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn. Production budget was $67 million for this. So comparing to Furiosa, which was our last movie, that was $168 million, and this is $67 million. So quite a bit lower.
A little bit different. Yeah.
And fun fact, I believe the first movie was made for $30 million.
Right, $30 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty low. Like, wow, that's pretty impressive. It said 64 days of production. Furiosa was 240 days of production, and then so far in the box office, they have made $180 million, which is pretty good.
Is that worldwide?
That was worldwide.
Okay.
But again, it's just up until this point, so it's still pretty fresh.
I think U.S. was $100 million.
Okay, yeah, I think that
Yeah,
sounded
it sounded
about
like it had a pretty decent opening.
Yeah, I think so. Synopsis for the film. When New York City comes under attack from an alien invasion, a woman and other survivors try to find a way to safety. They soon learn that they must remain absolutely silent as the mysterious creatures are drawn to the slightest sound. Before we get into general thoughts, let's do our first trivia question. Dan, you want to throw that out?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. And you guys have already made your guess because we had a little bit of a podcast recording technical error. So,
No, we didn't.
So we are taking a take two on this. But the only on-location filming that happened for the film was in New York City was for the scene at Patsy's Pizzeria in Harlem. Most of the film was filmed on a back lot, not in New York City. So where was the most of the film produced? Was it in Atlanta, Georgia, in LA, or in London?
Okay, so that's trivia one, and we'll come back and answer that at the end of the podcast. What's funny is my trivia question was almost what was the name of the pizza place. So,
really?
So really gave the answer, but I didn't know.
Good thing
Good thing you didn't go with that one.
Yeah, which we haven't cross-referenced that. I mean, we might have the same
we'll
trivia. See. Okay, so that's trivia one, and then let's go into general thoughts. So, Jared, why don't you just let us know how you felt about it?
Yeah, so Quiet Place 1 and 2 are like some of my favorite thriller movies. Like I really loved Quiet Place 1.
There's some of your
some of my favorites. Yeah, and part of it is just like the concept itself really surprised me the first time I saw it. Like seeing the trailer, it's like, I mean, this is just gonna be full of like jump scares. It's gonna be like any other horror movie.
Yeah.
And the way they were able to kind of spin it and just make such a unique like character study out of the first movie was really awesome. Like I just really enjoyed that movie and that experience. So going into this movie, I had a lot of high hopes for it. I was hoping for them to kind of dive a little bit more into the lore of the aliens or the monsters, creatures, whatever they are, because the other two movies just don't really do much of that at all. So like seeing the trailer, I'm like, oh, cool. We're gonna kind of get to see like the original like invasion and get to know these creatures a little bit more, and the movie definitely didn't really do that at all like the other two, so it was a little bit disappointing for me from that front, but I enjoyed the story overall, and I really liked the main characters, and overall I enjoyed the film still for what it is.
When I was doing research, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of the negative reviews were people who were looking for more lore, and they're like, there's only one mention of the monsters at all in the film, and like you're just kind of thrown into it, which I personally didn't mind. I kind of liked the ambiguity, but but you do get the little nugget of like how they get there,
Right?
which is just very brief and subtle. Like I assume they crash land, right? That's it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it is pretty brief. And we were talking about that. Yeah. I felt like we might have missed a little bit. Maybe I zoned out during that, so I don't even remember exactly how that plays out.
You just see fire falling from the sky and
just
things like nailing New York City.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden mayhem.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not much.
And the weird
that you get,
the weird like plot hole in the film of what were those eggs that they were eating. We never get any explanation.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I did have that thought, and that kind of went away.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, I assume that they just sent some food with them as they're like, we're gonna invade this world. Let's carry some extra
snacks.
food.
Right. You got to bring snacks when you're invading another planet.
That is hilarious if that's the mindset of aliens. Well, I enjoyed the film overall. You know, I didn't necessarily think it was like an amazing film, but it was still a fun film, like you said, for what it was. I really liked Sam as a character and kind of the journey that we follow her on as she's kind of grappling with enjoying her final days in hospice and that stark reality of like she's fighting for her life and kind of at the end of her life, and then she's thrust into a new situation where she's fighting for her life in a new way.
That's true. Yeah.
And so I and she was a really likable character too. And kind of her transformation.
She was likable, but she was a realistic jerk.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. Like you're right. She's a hard, like she's a very hard character.
Yeah.
She is kind of just callous and cold.
Right.
Yeah.
But you become, you know, over time you get to like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. I like the movie quite a bit actually. I like the first two. So this is kind of more of the same, but I like the new setting of New York. That was fun. I really
Switching
appreciated
it up
that.
a little
Switch
bit,
it up a little bit. Yeah, I really like just all the character stuff, and same with you. Like, I appreciate these movies because they're not just scary horror movies.
Right.
It's not really about the jump scare. There are some, but it's not really about that. I just really like her arc, and even Eric, who's the second main character, like he has a little bit of an arc, but I guess I liked him less. But
I didn't like him.
Yeah, I guess
I just
he
found
wasn't
him
that
annoying.
great. But
Which is funny because I've been hearing a lot about people just not liking his character at all, and I actually like really enjoyed his character. I mean, it's his story arc is simple.
yeah, it is.
It's very simple, but I don't know. I found like something redeeming about his character. Just like
I didn't hate him.
Like trying to go on this quest with with the PETA.
Yeah.
Right?
I just found him annoying. I'm like, dude, why are you just like randomly following her? But then again,
it's an alien invasion. I mean,
you learn about his character. He's away from home. He's lost.
What else? He has nothing else to do. Is basically what it comes down to.
Yes, but overall,
he doesn't want to be alone, right?
But overall, I really like the film. So
and it is such a contrast to your point. He doesn't want to be alone, and all she wants to do is be alone. So it does make for an interesting dynamic.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get into more discussions, I'll throw out my trivia question if you guys are ready for it.
This is a novel one.
This is what?
We haven't heard this one yet.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah, this is new. Okay, in the movie, Sam's pet cat shares a name with another iconic movie character. What is the cat's name? I'm not gonna do what do you call it?
Yeah, you don't have to give multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
This is if you watch the movie,
You would
Well,
know.
if you have a good memory,
Yeah,
you
if
might
you
not
remember.
remember. So that's trivia question number 2. And then we can kind of just go into things you want to talk about. Anything? Well, I wanted to bring up the movie theater experience. It's just kind of funny. Like the movies are so quiet. So like in my showing, we could hear a lot of popcorn and a lot of opening of snacks and stuff. And then like the chairs were so squeaky. So you guys kind of experienced that too a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing about these movies, right? It's just like there are sections where there's no sound design going on really at all. People like obviously have to be quiet in the movie, so you hear everything around you in the actual theater, like more so than usual, and so it can be a little awkward sometimes, especially like for me. I was eating popcorn. It's like, am I making too much noise? And I know like the first movie, like what was interesting about Quiet Place 1 is like before, at least the theater I was at, before our screening, like staff from the theater had to make an announcement, like, just so you know, like this movie's like really quiet, so don't be making any noise, like we'll have to kick you out. And what was nice about that message ahead of time is people were like dead silent during the movie, so we got like the actual experience of like, it felt like we were in this world with these characters as we were watching it, because it was so quiet. Never heard a theater that quiet.
Well, I was the loud guy in my film. We sat down, got our spots. It was a pretty empty like theater. It wasn't that full, but someone sat next to us that just smelled of weed really bad. And, and Jessica, who was not sitting next to them, was like, "Oh my gosh, do you want to move? Because like it was really strong for her, and I was about to like just tough it out, but I was like, yeah, let's move. So about 5 minutes into the film, and it's like
Those seats are not quiet. The recliners.
the seats we were in had issues because the seats we moved
Were
to
they really- were they squeaky?
way quieter. I mean, they were squeaky, and just the like engine, the motor in it was like really whiny. So like, I swear, everybody just like looked at us.
Everyone's staring at you like
as Sam is like depressed in the hospice home.
I mean, at least it wasn't like later on in the movie
Yeah,
where it's
true,
really
yeah.
quiet.
Yeah. Well, it does make you realize how most movies have so much music behind it,
Yeah.
even in slow
Yeah.
parts or
I
whatever.
feel like especially like movies these days like are kind of maybe afraid to just let silence play a bigger role into the story.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool to see about these films. Just they really play into that.
To that point, though, like there isn't tons of silence.
It's true.
Because anytime there's like action happening, it's loud.
You still have
whatever.
sound design.
There's
and
rain.
all
There's
that, yeah.
to be honest, there was like I think very few moments when it was.
I will
just,
say,
like, dead silent.
I will say the first movie
I felt like it
kind
was
of played into it more.
Yeah, I felt like it was less than
Yeah.
the previous two.
Yeah.
I agree with that
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, but for me, my theater experience, like 30 minutes into the movie or something, like right after the characters were kind of leaving the theater, the marionette theater, and kind of the inciting incident that was going to kind of start actually like taking place, something happened in like the front rows of the theater, and I don't know what, but all of a sudden people were having to move seats. Like, and not just like two people, like it was like the first few rows. People were getting up and switching
They were like
seats.
siphoning everybody
I don't know
out.
what was going on. It was so distracting. And of course, like this movie especially, it's distracting. So I missed like a good section of like that kind of inciting scene after the theater, after they left the theater. So that was kind of annoying because then it was like, wait, what did I miss? And then I was like trying to catch up after that. And obviously, like not a ton
Not a
happened,
ton, but yeah.
But I
still
felt like I
annoying.
kind of missed some of the beginning stages of like the
Yeah.
alien invasion, unfortunately.
Yeah, that tension, that the building of
Yeah.
that. Although it kind of just happens. Honestly, they don't really.
Yeah.
On that first one, but
Yeah.
Let's talk about the cat.
the cat. Yeah.
What did you think of? We don't have to say the name.
Yeah.
for trivia.
For trivia.
But did you like the cat? Did you not like the cat?
I like the cat.
I have gripes with
So-
the cat.
I didn't mind the cat. What's
So
your,
when
I
I was just gonna say when I first kind of like saw the cat, my initial reaction was like, this better not be like I Am Legend. Have you both seen I Am Legend?
yeah.
It's been.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I know what
Yeah,
you're
I'm like,
referencing.
this cat better make it. So the whole time I was worried. I'm like, they better not pull an I Am Legend as we were watching through it. I thought it was funny because this girl I was sitting next to, like her reaction every time the cat was on screen was really funny. She was just like, no, like freaking out. It was like,
It's so
that was kind of funny because it happened every time.
It's so interesting to me how people get so worked up about animals,
Yeah.
and they don't care if humans die in movies.
Right.
They have no
Right.
Like there's so many times like, oh, not the cat, and then
Yeah.
somebody just gets their head chopped
Yeah.
out or
Right.
something.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like I was reading some reviews afterwards and just kind of seeing what people generally thought about the movie, and everyone was like, "That is the quietest cat. Like if it was my cat, we'd be done."
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like it.
Really?
The entire movie, I was thinking, there's no way that cat makes zero sound.
Yeah.
That cat is next to these monsters all the time.
Right, yeah.
And like doesn't make a noise. It goes underwater through a subway system. Somehow isn't wet when it
Yeah.
comes out, and also like isn't coughing or freaked out and just like running away. Like it just seemed it was. I don't know.
A little
It ju-
unrealistic,
Yeah, it was
maybe?
just unrealistic.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
pulled me out from
Sure.
yeah.
But let's be honest, that's not the only unrealistic
Right.
thing happening in this movie.
Right.
Because the thing that got me was how stupid the humans were. Like the
Yeah.
guy, when she's under the car, that's like grabbing her and just yelling as loud as he can. You guys remember this?
Was that towards the beginning?
You know what? That's a
That's-
human like for people who are panicking, they think the world's ending.
Was that at the beginning or was that towards the end?
Yeah, that was
It was towards the beginning.
Was
yeah.
it towards the
yeah.
beginning? Yeah.
It was like
Trying
as
to remember.
everything was
But,
happening.
but no,
Right.
but that wasn't right away. That was when they were like go all walking to the boat. So
You
they
know what?
all
That was
knew
probably
to be
the scene.
quiet.
That was probably the scene I missed.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
They all knew to be quiet at that point, and this one guy was just yelling as loud as he can, and he was like, "Help me, help me!" I'm just like, "How is she supposed to help you right
Yeah.
now?" That was stupid.
But you know, our main character, Eric, like he starts having these panic attacks. Like
Right, that too.
that's where I'm like, I'm sure there's crazy people who like just start panicking,
Right.
losing their mind,
Where
and
they can't even control it.
They don't even like. It's just.
Yeah, it didn't bother
you're
me
not
with
thinking
him. I
logically.
didn't think about it with him.
Yeah.
But then, so that, and then without spoiling things, but like the generator
We're spoiling
scene.
things. We're spoiling.
Well, we're trying not to spoil things, but the generator scene, that was a little bit like, why are you going over there?
Why are you going over there?
Towards
Yeah.
this really loud thing. It
Although
doesn't
that was
make-
towards the beginning too, wasn't it?
that was,
Yeah, that
towards
was.
So my
earlier.
question for you guys is like, did I miss something? Like, because it seemed like really quickly everyone knew like we got to be dead silent.
They knew right away.
They knew right away.
Yeah.
Was that like explained at all? Or
No.
No, because she like passes out.
Yeah.
Like,
You're right. That is a plot hole. But no,
it's not necessarily a plot hole. I was just wondering if they
no.
like showed
They
it.
actually on the radio.
Did they have that on the radio?
There's
Okay.
like a woman who's like writing stuff.
See, I thought there
down.
was something there.
Oh, yeah,
I just
yeah.
couldn't remember if
Yeah.
they had that.
Which
or
was a
not.
call out actually to the second movie.
Right.
And the radio station that's
Right.
sending out messages or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I just couldn't remember if like there was a moment in the movie where they explained that or not, or just everyone all of a sudden knew like we got to be quiet.
Yeah. Anyway,
But-
there's just a couple.
Yeah,
of
I'm with
those
you. Like the
moments.
generator seems like no, don't go out there.
Yeah, it's like just a little bit too far. Like I don't. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's kind of how these movies go. So it is what it is. But
Yeah, I mean the concept itself is fun enough. It's like
yeah,
I'll
I
give
mean,
them some slack.
Doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah.
But
Just a little bit more about the cat. The other thing I kept thinking of was the book Save the Cat.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, wow, way to be you know,
literally saving the cat.
literally using the Save the Cat
Yeah.
like
'Cause it's like a
storytelling structure.
screenplay writing book. Is that
Right.
what
It's
you're
like
writing? Okay.
yeah, your main character always has to like do something to make the audience
Oh.
like fall in love with them or like grow along. Like,
The cat was kind of just doing its own thing. She
Yeah,
wasn't really
but
saving-
like,
I mean,
like
at the
Sam
end,
like
yeah,
saves the
saved
cat
it.
right away.
yeah.
She risks her life.
yeah, I mean in the book like there are examples like the character saves a cat in the first like few minutes of the movie, so now you love them the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was
He
kind of
could not think of it.
a
Yeah.
funny parallel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I want to talk more about just Sam's character because I
Yeah.
really like that she was like started off just in hospice and like clearly just had no interest in being
Right.
there. Like I felt like that was kind
Right,
of
her
a
poem
unique.
makes
The
that
poem,
pretty clear.
yeah, pretty funny. And
Yeah.
like her relationship with the guy who's like who's helping
hospice
there. Or whatever,
caretaker. Yeah.
I just felt like that was unique. I can't really think of another movie that like starts with somebody like in that. I'm sure there are, but I can't like nothing comes to mind.
Right.
So I liked her being in that position, and then once she's like running, when she's in the city and the aliens are there, that changes too because it's like she doesn't even want to go to the boats. She has a
Right.
different motivation,
Right.
which to me is like she wants to do a couple things before she dies,
Right.
like
Yeah.
whether it's from the disease or from the aliens. So
Right.
I think that's interesting, just seeing
Yeah.
that image of her walking the other way and the swarm of people.
As
that
everyone
was
is
really
like
strong.
trying to get out of
Yeah.
there.
So
Yeah.
I just like her motivation
Right.
was interesting to me. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed her motivation as well, and I loved like kind of trying to guess towards the beginning of the movie, like why is she doing what she's
Yeah.
doing, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that made the story a lot more compelling than it could have been if like everyone's just trying to escape. Because we've seen
Yeah.
that movie a million times,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so it made the story like her character arc more compelling for me. Just kind of trying to figure out what her goal was
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, beyond just like she's trying to do something before she dies, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I can't remember. Did I say this in the first time we recorded this or the second time where I just really like she did such a great job in her role with the character and especially like with a film that has very little dialogue,
Right.
just like how she was able to convey so much.
Yeah, I mean
just,
that
like,
can't be easy as
facially,
a
yeah.
as an actor or actress, right?
What's funny? So Maddie and I saw this movie, the first movie.
Yeah.
And we saw the first two.
Yeah.
And she always talks about how in the first one we see John Krasinski go like this, like 100 times in that movie. So it's just become a joke between us whenever we do. It's just so dramatic.
Yeah, they
But
gotta do it
this
as
one,
intense as
there was
we can,
only they
yeah.
only did that one time, and I was like, oh, okay, they really pulled away from that because like it's just like it's so easy. It's just like let's
Sure.
do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like so, like yeah, the facial expressions she did much more intricate
Yeah.
things with
Yeah.
that. So
Which props to them. It's like give them something different to react to, right?
Yeah.
And just having her story be what it was kind of plays into that really well.
yeah, for sure. Okay, what else?
Trying to remember what we talked about in the first recording versus the second one. I guess favorites. Did you guys have a favorite scene? My favorite scene was after the subway chase. it's raining. They're in the apartment,
yeah.
and like it's the first moment that they feel, I don't know, somewhat safe.
Right.
And they start screaming in between strikes or lightning strikes or whatever. And I thought that was just such a human moment. And then if I remember right, didn't it like there was like something, spoiler alert, I think are we able to give spoilers?
I mean, nothing
it like
big.
it like jolts them back. There's like something that just like pulls them out of that, where like they're having I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh, yeah.
But like you know, they're having such like this intimate moment, and then like I thought the film did a really good job of like just like smacking you back into the
Wasn't there a
reality
jump
that they
scare?
were. Yeah, there was some sort of a
I
jump
don't
scare.
I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember
Something
what it was
on the-
either.
At the door or something?
But it was
I can't
really
remember.
it was one of the few effective uses of jump scare where
Right.
it didn't feel cheap.
Yeah.
And it felt like purposeful.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the
Of the jump scare,
scares.
yeah. And this movie had a few of them.
It did. It wasn't like excessive,
Right.
Yeah.
But they were there.
The other thing that I really like about this film that, I mean, sometimes you get, sometimes you don't, is that I felt like any of the characters could actually die.
Right.
Like kind of like a Game of Thrones thing where you're just like, okay, we might be losing my favorite character or whatever
Right.
it is. So like, cause some movies you're just like, oh yeah, they're going to make it out. So like that factor of like, okay, anybody can die here. It just makes it so much more tense.
Yeah.
And even the cat.
Yeah, even the cat. The person
There's
next
no
to me
way
is
the
like,
cat was gonna die.
Yeah.
Never had a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person next to me was like, "You better not kill that cat."
Yeah. But yeah, I really appreciate that
Yeah.
for sure.
It would have tanked in the box office had they killed the cat.
Yeah. My favorite scene was the jazz club scene. Once
Oh,
they
yeah.
got to the jazz club, I just like I wasn't expecting the movie to be like as emotional as it kind of got in that scene, especially.
Yeah.
And just again, like playing more into the character arcs and focusing more on the characters. This film does a really nice job of that, and I think it all kind of comes to a climax a little bit in the jazz club scene. And
Yeah.
I thought that scene was really powerful.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think those two scenes were probably the best scenes. I agree.
Yeah.
Just getting that emotion from it. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I also just like that the inciting incident was like, let's go get pizza.
yeah, sure. Yeah, that's true. I don't think we talked about it on this round, but the first recording. But yeah, I did feel like it was kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
Like we didn't talk about that yet, right here.
We haven't, no.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I think maybe like 3/4 of the way in, I did feel like I was like, okay, we don't need another scene where like we're hiding from the monsters and then they hear you and then they come and get like it was. I was like, okay, it's kind of getting repetitive, and then that's right when I think we got to the pizza scene, and I was
Right,
like, okay,
yep.
all right, we got some more characters. So
Yep.
it didn't go too far with it, but I was like, yeah, I don't need any more of
Yeah.
those scenes.
Yeah.
So
I think that was one of its downfalls was
Yeah.
it was a little bit too like repetitive, formulaic, and they could have probably done a little bit more to vary it up where it wasn't just like, you know, run, hide, hide.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
monsters come, monsters leave.
Right. Oh, we're safe again.
yeah.
Oh, no, now we made another noise.
Yeah. I did really like. I there was some cool visual stuff like the water when they're in the water or like in the sewers. I thought that was visually interesting. And then
Yeah.
like I felt like when they were running through like the skyscraper building or whatever.
Yeah,
and
that
you
scene
could
was
kinda-
really cool. And you have the creatures coming down.
Yeah, I
from
feel like
the
there was a
buildings.
lot more creatures in this one compared
Yeah.
to any of the other ones.
Yeah.
Like way more. So
Yeah.
But also, my question: did they just crash land in New York City? Was this explained in another one? Did they crash land across North America?
well.
I mean, they're pretty much all over the place.
Over because they are on the phone and saying like, oh, they're in I don't know Paris
Right.
or wherever.
Oh,
they-
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or not on the. I mean, or isn't something's going on? I don't know.
I remember what you're
You're right.
talking
She's
about.
like on
they
a
were like
radio.
showing
Yeah,
some other.
like on
yeah.
radio or
They were
something.
talking about
okay.
some
So,
other
it
stuff.
was the entire world that got invaded.
I'm assuming that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, they don't really like delve too much into that beyond
Yeah.
just like
Because if it was
hints
just
here
North
and there.
America, the rest of the world is safe. They can't swim.
Right.
Right, that's true. The
Right.
water thing, yeah, that's interesting. Because I guess that was in the second one.
Yeah.
There was
that's
some
why they
water
were on the
stuff in it.
island.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. Anything else? Like, dislike?
I guess for me, my only other dislike is more so just like from seeing the original trailer and then the movie that we actually got. So the original trailer like really kind of hyped up the invasion, like the initial invasion scenes.
Okay, gotcha.
And so for me, like in the actual movie, Lupita's character gets knocked out like pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of flash forward beyond like a lot of the initial invasion where it felt like could have been cool to kind of see a little bit more of that piece, because that was like such a big part of like it's day one, right? And this is what's going on like as they're invading. I wish they would have delved a little bit more into that before we kind of get into kind of later on when they're going to find pizza.
Yeah.
Would be my only other thing I kind of disliked about it.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of fun to see it. Although, like, I guess my only argument would be what would we necessarily gain from any additional stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it would be, it'd still be cool to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If anything, it'd just be bigger scale, right? At the beginning.
That was one thing I saw. Some people were like, they didn't feel like they used the New York City setting to its full potential, which I don't quite necessarily know what that means.
Yeah.
But
Central Park, maybe if they went to Central Park, that could be cool.
Maybe. I don't know. I overall, I liked it, and I appreciated that it was kind of more smaller scale and kind of focused just on those specific characters. But that would be my only thing.
Yeah. Anything else, or should we go to
trivia?
Trivia first.
Let's do trivia, and then we can go to ratings, and then
sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
So my trivia question is, which film inspired the overall look of A Quiet Place Day One?
Ooh. Which film inspired?
Yeah, so there was a film that the director was kind of inspired by.
Oh, interesting.
The
look of this film.
Can you give us a genre?
Well, I'll give you
maybe
options.
a decade.
Oh, you got options.
I've got some options.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So I got multiple choice here. So was it A, The Road, B, Children of Men, C, I Am Legend, or D, 10 Cloverfield Lane?
I haven't heard of the first two films.
So again, it was The Road.
Yep, The Road.
Children of Men.
Okay.
I Am Legend, or 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay. All right, I got to guess. I don't know if it's right, though.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Can you borrow your pen?
Oh. Okay, cool. So that's trivia number 3. Let's do our star ratings. So reminder that we're going to do out of 5.
Yep.
Opposed to 10. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, it was a film that kept me entertained and kind of kept me engaged throughout. Didn't think it was amazing, but I thought it was better than just average. I thought it was still a good, entertaining film that had some to. It was lacking a little bit, I think, from a complexity standpoint, whatever. But it still was entertaining enough. So
Yeah, cool. That's actually the same rating I gave it. So 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah, out of 5. For me, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first two, especially the first one. But I appreciated the characters and the story that they kind of focused on, as simple as it was.
yeah.
Nice. Okay, I'm a little bit different. I liked it a lot. I went 4.5 on this one. So, I mean, I really like the simplicity of it. So, like, that's actually a plus for me. And I don't know. I liked all of these. I think I liked the second the least. But I really like this new setting, and I like these characters. I don't know. Everything was kind of working for me. Like I said, the only downside was getting a little bit repetitive, but then it kind of went away from that. So I don't know. It worked for me. It's fun. It's not like, scary. Right. So it's like, it's easy to watch and fun and entertaining. So I don't know.
Yeah.
For what it was, it worked for me.
And it's classified as like a horror, isn't it? Which I thought was definitely not a horror.
I would say,
more of
thriller. Sci-fi thriller. Yeah, for sure.
And interesting fact, on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score was 73% and critics were 87%. So
I was
Adam,
gonna
you
say
must
that.
be a critic.
Well,
it's doing
Jared
better
and
for
I
critics.
must be an audience.
Funny. That's it. Thank you I did write down some rating from the other place. So Rotten Tomatoes, I had 87%.
Yeah.
I guess that's a critic one. And then IMDb 6.8 out of 10. So not great, but not terrible. And then 3 point. So I did Letterbox, which is where I like log all my movies and do reviews and stuff. So 3.3 out of 5 on Letterbox. So not amazing. Honestly, the Rotten Tomatoes is the highest one.
It's like a good rating, right?
Yeah.
3.5 is good.
That's not bad.
No, 4 is when you start getting into great.
Yeah.
And 5 is amazing.
Yeah. Like it used to be 4.5 and 5s were movies that I would want to buy and keep in my collection.
Sure,
I don't buy movies as much, so it's more of just like my favorites, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of how I gauge the top
Are we
ones.
doing quick movie shoutouts?
We are, but we should do the trivia answers before that.
Before going
All
to
right.
that, okay.
So, Dan, you went first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So remember, mine was where did they film the majority of the film? Which backlot? And it was in London. What'd you guys guess?
London.
I knew London because I
Yep.
saw it in the
I
behind
saw
the
it
scenes.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
But I wasn't sure if you were gonna if it was the city you were looking for or the actual backlot because I can't remember the lot.
just
the
right.
studio.
And also, rather than me saying it first, you guys should share your guess.
Sure.
Or the other people should share the guess,
Yep.
and then let us know the right answer.
Oh, say that again. I zoned out.
So I was just saying, let's do Jared's next,
Sure.
and then we'll say what we guessed, and then Jared will let us know if we're right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So again, my trivia question was, what film inspired the look of A Quiet Place Day One?
Okay. I just switched mine, so I'm probably
we'll
gonna
see.
regret
We'll see
that.
what you switched it to.
I guessed I Am Legend, but I think that's too obvious, so I don't think that's right.
Okay.
What'd
I
you say?
originally did I Am Legend, but I kind of thought it was too obvious, so I switched to 10 Cloverfield Lane.
It is Children of Men.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see that at all.
Right? But that kind of inspired the look. And I feel like it was more so just kind of like in the cinematography following
Oh,
the characters
okay.
on the streets. Because,
Cinematography wise.
I mean, they didn't really do long takes like Children of Men did.
Right.
Have you seen Children of Men? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Children of Men, like the cinematography is amazing. It's one of my favorite films as far as cinematography goes. Almost the entire movie is like long takes. So it's like 10 to 15 minute sequences, and it's like an action sci-fi post-apocalyptic film.
Apocalyptic, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like the whole movie's like composed of long takes, so it's just really elaborate scenes that they had to shoot.
But it's a lot of like handheld and
a lot of handheld, which they didn't do as much in this.
That's what I was
Yeah.
wondering. Did they do that a lot?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't. I didn't notice, but
Not too much, but that was kind of the film that inspired the director
Okay.
as they were kind of designing the production design for the
Interesting.
film.
Okay. Yeah, didn't get that. And then my trivia question was the name of the cat. Sounds like you guys knew it.
Frodo. It was Frodo.
Frodo. Yep. Yep. I just wanted to shout out.
Which I liked.
Every
you,
chance-
you get Sam and Frodo.
That's
together.
true. I guess
Yep.
I need to put that together.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did
So
not put that together.
that
sounds like a
I like that
copyright
little.
infringement.
All right, I like that little detail.
Yeah. Every shout I can get for Lord of the Rings, I'll
Yep.
throw in there. So it's an easy one. But
Yep.
okay, cool. So that's that. And now we're just gonna do so our movie shout out. So again, this is just something that we've seen recently, something that is a hidden gem that we like that other people don't like, or just something that we want to shout out as a movie to let people know about. Really. So who wants to go first?
I can, and I will go with Children of Men, like I was just talking about. Because if you haven't seen it, you should definitely take a look and definitely watch it. It's one of my favorites.
Give the just quick premise.
Yeah, quick premise. So it's post-apocalyptic. Basically, what's happened is women stop being able to have babies, and so the world is freaking out because, like, basically, like the youngest person is like in his 20s, and there's no one else beyond that. So everyone's like, "Well, crap, we're kind of done unless we can figure this out." It's kind of the premise. So it's post-apocalyptic. It's chaos. It's really awesome.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
It is good. Yeah, like you said, cinematography is really
So
good.
good, yeah. Yeah, Manuel
Yeah, it's
Lubetsky is the cinematographer. He also shot The Revenant. If you've seen that.
Oh
and,
yeah. So is it mainly like natural light that
Natural
for the
light
film?
and wide lenses.
Yeah,
and a lot of handheld.
I do love
Yeah.
his style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so beautiful. But that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, definitely a good recommendation there.
Mine, I'll just do two really quick ones because I had one and then I just watched Twister for the first time yesterday.
Oh,
nice.
But
To prepare for our
our
next
next
episode?
episode. But
Nice.
Spoilers.
I just had a really fun time watching that movie.
Yeah.
Everyone probably knows what Twister is, but I got it on it was the 4K Blu-ray. They just released it on 4K. Looked amazing, sounded amazing. Like the Dolby Atmos experience was really cool with my sound system. Really fun. You guys should maybe come over and give it a watch beforehand.
That would
Yeah.
actually be fun before we see the next
Yeah,
one.
we could. Well, because we do backyard movie nights, and that's always been one on the table to do.
Yeah.
In the backyard would be pretty fun.
There
but-
you go.
Yeah. But the one that I wanted to do was Hitman. It's a new one that just came out with what's his face?
You told me, but I didn't actually really know who he was, so I can't help you
I don't
out
know.
on that.
Man, he's such a popular actor right now. And
Tiffany, who is it?
Look it up.
look it up. Why can't I think of it?
You keep going. I'll find it.
Anyway, the premise is like this guy is working a side job as not Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, different Hitman. This is what I was telling you. There's 100 movies called Hitman
I know. I'm
out there, so
Like,
it's really hard.
so
it's a new one.
here you go.
Just came out.
Is it?
Glenn
Yeah.
Powell, that's it. He did a great job in it, but it's essentially he's a part-time like working to pose as a hitman. So basically, it's like a sting operation, and he's doing like helping on the surveillance side, and someone's going in pretending to be a hitman. And then he ends up getting thrown into that role as like the person who's meeting up with these individuals that want to kill someone. And he's like amazing at it. And so then all of a sudden, he's doing a ton of them. He meets a woman that he like falls in love with. And so then that's kind of where the story goes of like when lines start getting blurred between this like character that he's putting on and the people he's working with, and this whole relationship ensues. So it's actually a really entertaining movie.
Yeah, I watched the trailer after you mentioned it, and I'm like, oh, this actually, it looks more than, like, the pitches sounds like, oh, just a normal, like, comedy, action
Is it in
comedy,
theaters or
Netflix.
Netflix? Okay.
Netflix. But it's directed by Richard Linklater.
Oh yeah, I actually really like.
You
his
like
movies,
him? Yeah. So, like, Dazed and Confused, I guess, is the main.
Yeah.
Or School of Rock, too.
School of
I love
Rock,
School of
yeah.
Rock. So it's like, it feels, it's different than just, like, a straight action comedy. It feels, like, well made, too.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Mine, strangely enough, is 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Is it actually?
Oh.
Is it actually?
It is
No way.
because I was trying to pick one that felt similar to this. So that's kind of what I went to. Like I thought of, again, the original Cloverfield. Have you seen it?
Yep.
Okay, so the original Cloverfield is like a found footage, like handheld, like
Yeah.
alien
Founder of
invasion.
found footage, right?
What'd you say?
Yeah,
Isn't
kinda.
it like
It's
one
found
of the like?
footage, yeah.
No, it's
Oh.
like one of the first films.
It
to
might
be
have been
found
like one of the
footage.
first. Yeah.
That or Blair
That was Blair Witch. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Blair
Cloverfield
Witch.
was a little later, but
Yeah, that's true.
it was one of the first. Yeah.
But anyway, so that's the first one. This one is kind of in that world. I don't know. It's kind of very different.
Yeah.
But the
same universe though.
Same universe,
Yeah.
I guess. So the premise is basically there's some sort of apocalyptic event happening, but you don't really know what it is. So a woman gets like kind of trapped in this bunker with John Goodman.
Yeah.
And they're just living there, and she's like, I can't leave, otherwise I'm gonna die if I go outside. But they don't know what it is, so it's just kind of like builds really slowly. And it's very creepy. They're like doing puzzles, and he's like getting very mad at her, and she's like, this guy's crazy, but I don't know where to go. So like the tension is just really good, and then it's just really entertaining. It does have like a twist at the end, so you might like it, you might not, but everything before that is really good. And
Yeah.
I just was reminded of that.
What I
when
love
watched
about
this.
that film, not to spoil it at all, but compared to because it's kind of a sequel sort of to Cloverfield, right?
Yeah.
And compared to Cloverfield, it is just so much more contained.
Yes.
But if you've seen Cloverfield, you know what's going on like outside of
Yeah.
like the bunker,
The
right?
bunker,
And
yeah.
It just makes it so much more like impactful to kind of just be with these characters. I mean, you know everything else that's happening outside, and everything's going crazy inside. It's like, what are they gonna do? It's really good. If you haven't seen it.
No, I need to see both of those films.
Cool. So that's our shout outs. We're wrapping up here. The last thing we're going to do is guess a quote, movie quote. So Tiffany, our producer, found a movie quote for us to try to guess. So we actually don't know the answer at all. So the quote of the show is there are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job.
Do we get a hint?
I don't have any hints. That's all I got.
Tiffany, can you give us a quick hint?
Think about it. I like to me. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. To me, like I'm like thinking like it's got to be like a sports movie, right? Like somebody who's like a mean coach. So my guess is Miracle. This is just like a jerk coach who
Is this an
makes him run.
iconic movie?
It is.
Miracle's pretty iconic, I would say. I don't know. I've definitely heard it, but I can't pinpoint what.
Say it one more time.
There are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job.
Oh man.
You know it, right? Like you recognize it?
I recognize it.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of what it is.
How old is this movie?
Yeah.
2014.
Honestly,
14?
my
Ooh, that's
thought
not
goes
that
to
old.
something along the lines of like Wolf of Wall Street, like some like self-made person
Yeah.
that becomes very successful.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good.
Maybe.
So you're going Wolf of Wall Street, you think? 2014? That might be around that. I can't remember when that one came out.
Or was it Moneyball? When did Moneyball come out?
Moneyball? I feel like that was like a 2009
Alright.
or
Was that
something.
earlier?
I don't know.
Tiffany, give us the answer.
Do you want to guess,
No,
Jared?
do
Or?
you-
I have.
guess?
That's my guess. I have no clue.
Moneyball?
Yeah,
Okay. Tiffany, what is it?
we're gonna be completely
Drum
off.
roll.
Whiplash. Ooh.
Oh,
Hey,
Whiplash. Great movie.
that came out in 2014.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
right.
that would. Yeah.
So, okay. It's a teacher saying that?
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Oh, I don't know his name. His actor or
The actor. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, J.K. Simmons. That's right.
J.K.
Yep.
Simmons. Yeah, that is a great movie. That is a really good movie.
Yeah, very anxiety filled.
Yeah.
but good.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. I can hear it now. I can
Yep.
hear him saying it now. Cool. Well, that's the show. Anything else you guys want to add before I
No.
wrap it up? Okay.
Next episode is Twisters.
Twisters.
Plural.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh man.
Did
you see the trailer?
I don't think it's gonna
Did
be
you
good.
watch the
but,
trailer that they
yeah,
released?
I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna be good, but I'm excited to watch
This is
it.
gonna be fun.
Yeah.
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 last
Hopefully it's fun.
Twister wasn't a great movie, but it was a fun.
it was
movie.
fun.
But it was
Yeah.
good. It was
I-
Twister was a good movie. Yeah.
It's such a cheesy film, but it's still a fun one to watch,
Yeah.
and like they do a good job with the action.
Yeah, and I'm sure the effects have gotten a little better.
Yeah.
Even though they were really good for the time. But
Yeah.
Not the opening scene with the satellite.
Yeah.
Like look at that.
Yeah.
I'll have to show it to you afterwards. But anyway,
Yeah.
all right.
So yeah. So thanks again for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
And
Thank you.
Have you seen it?